This episode on the Mesh.tv is sponsored by The Sock Factory, making quality socks in North Carolina since 1975. Producers of Crazy Compression, William Tucker, and Fit Sock, The Sock Factory has something for everyone. Find out more at thesockfactory.com.
What you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Everybody, welcome to Street Circle Drive, your Hickory-centric podcast here on The Mesh. We are welcoming all of our hosts back, but also we have a special guest at the table today. Michael McNally is going to be introducing her later. Hello, how are you today?
I am wonderful on this Valentine's Day. How are you?
It's Valentine's, and I'm all flustered because we've been talking before this, and we've had lots of giggles. Mm-hmm. And I do have to let everyone know that...
Guys don't get... I chuckled. You giggled. Let's just throw that out there for everyone.
I think it was a giggle.
It's precious.
I'm pretty sure it was a giggle. But we have an intern running the show today. So hopefully...
So we apologize for all the audio technical difficulties that you might be...
No, he's really good. And what I'm hoping is that he's not going to edit in any of the discussions we had prior to this. So... Hopefully it's just, we're now rolling. We took a little break.
No B-roll. Yep.
Took a little breather. We all needed a little break.
That's right.
Yeah, just saying. And now we're back. So, Moose, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the table.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
We'll get to you with some events a little bit later on.
I'm here. I'm ready.
All right. For those of you enjoying this podcast, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you're listening on the Mesh.tv. If not, on Apple iTunes or any other podcast network. You can find out more about The Mesh and our show at themesh.tv online. And you can find us all over social media. But moving forward, we have a great friend and guest today at the table. McNally, I will let you run with this.
All right. Thank you very much. Yes, we are pleased to welcome Miss Kim Holden to the table.
Well, thank you. I even had to look at her. Lovely. Thank you.
Gosh, I've known Kim for a while now. I know Mary Margaret, everybody has. Kim is the executive director of the Catawba County Partnership for Children.
Yes, I am.
I always have to remember all that because all those words, make sure I get them in the right order.
Mouthful.
Exactly. I have the honor and privilege of serving on the board with Kim, doing excellent work, and she'll get into that a little bit. I know I always tell people you deal with all of the wonderful rhyme time things that the governor's put into place, like Smart Start and More at 4 and all of those wonderful programs that deal with early childhood education. For this area, typically, if you're not directly responsible for them, you're involved with them in somehow. So if you don't mind, take a few minutes to at least kind of give a brief overview of the partnership and what all you do.
Sure, and thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
We're
exciting. The Partnership for Children is really all about making sure that kids start school healthy and prepared for success. So there's a lot that goes into that. It's all about knowing that 80% of a child's brain is developed in the first 3 years of life. So we can't start worrying about whether or not kids are going to be successful in life when they start kindergarten. By that time, the kind of ship has sailed. And so we need to maximize the impact we have on kids in those first 2,000 days of life. So the whole mission of the Partnership for Children is to make sure that we're finding those kids and we know where they are and how they're doing and make sure they're exposed to the services that they need to make them successful before they get to school.
Absolutely. Talk a little bit, like I mentioned a couple of them. Smart Start, More at 4. See, I haven't got tongue-tied on that one.
Yeah.
What are some of those programs and what are some of the nuances or differences between those for folks that aren't familiar?
It is a complex system of early childhood work, for sure, yeah. Basically, the Partnership for Children, the Catawba County Partnership for Children, is an umbrella organization. So we're a nonprofit, and we have a couple of major funding streams. One is called Smart Start, and we are in our 23rd year of Smart Start here in Catawba County, 24th year almost. Smart Start was started by Governor Jim Hunt. And the goal of Smart Start is to make sure that kids start school healthy and prepared for success. So the great thing about that funding stream is that local communities, each county like ours, can decide what that means for us. So if we've got a particular issue in Catawba County that affects Catawba County kids, then we can design programming with Smart Start funds to make sure that issue is addressed. For example, we have a high percentage of working moms in Catawba County, and so we have a big focus on making sure that our child care programs are high quality and have the resources they need to make sure kids are safe during the day while their parents are at work. So that's kind of Smart Start. And Michael is on the board, and so you all decide kind of how we invest those dollars to make sure we're impacting the greatest needs. Back in 2001, now Governor Easley started what he called the More at 4 program, and while he really appreciated that early childhood is important and the first 5 years are critical, and brain research is telling us we have to invest in that, he also was seeing a lot of 4-year-olds who were not in pre-K. And you can ask any kindergarten teacher out there, if they can tell which kids were in pre-K and which weren't. And they said, day one, we know which kids had group care experience before they started kindergarten and not. So Governor Easley started More at 4 to find at-risk 4-year-olds who are out there in the world and otherwise would show up for kindergarten without any kind of pre-K experience. And so we manage that program in collaboration with our school systems and private child care centers. We have actual classrooms where these kids go for the year prior to kindergarten. And now it's called the North Carolina Pre-Kindergarten Program.
That's right.
NC Pre-K.
NC Pre-K, yes. Same idea, same program, just it's called something different now. And we
got rid of the rhyming.
I know it's not as fun anymore, but yeah, right. So, and we serve about 350 kids through that program, so it's a pretty significant effort.
Do you know how many 4-year-olds, or what is that percentage of? Typically,
there are 1,900 kindergartners every year, 2,000. Okay. So, that gives you kind of a good estimate of how many kids we're serving through NC Pre-K. And ultimately, about half of our kids, 60% of our kids in Catawba County attend some sort of pre-kindergarten program before they get to school.
Okay, that included
child care centers, half days, like Mother's Morning Out programs, that kind of thing.
Are you seeing or hearing any sort of push for, whether it's now or down the road, of course, everybody knows budgets and everything, for expanding that? Because I did find it interesting, and I didn't know this, that North Carolina was the first state to utilize universal kindergarten for everybody. So, it's one of those things that, even with all the news that you hear about education and up one side, down the other on where everybody feels or fits, but, of course, sitting on the board and having young children myself, it is in the people that they are in school with, you would think that might be something that can be pushed. Has there been any talk about that?
There has been. In fact, North Carolina is really cutting edge when it comes to early childhood. I mean, just the fact that we have a system in place for child care centers that assesses their quality. So we have a STAR system, and that's really important for families to understand what kind of child care program their kid is going to and what quality looks like. Many states don't have any kind of system like that, where nursing homes have it and plumbers have it and all these different industries have it. So in North Carolina, we're really ahead of the curve. The North Carolina Pre-Kindergarten Program has been proven to be really successful in getting kids ready for school, and it's finding those kids that are at risk and wouldn't have access only because their families don't have the resources to expose them to to a regular child care program. So there has been talk of expansion, and we've gotten expansion this current school year and next school year, and then there's also funding coming down that we're going to expand even further in years to come. So
nice.
Governor Cooper has been really supportive of pre-K and making sure that we're finding all the kids that are on the waiting list, because there are thousands of kids on the waiting list across the state right now.
Kim, you answer my question. Do the parents seek you out, or do you seek the families out that need your assistance, or is it a combination of both?
It's really a combination of both. I mean, the kids I'm most concerned about are in families that wouldn't necessarily know we exist, right? So we have a lot of folks that are calling going, when can I apply for NC Pre-K? And they've heard through the grapevine or heard through family members or whatever that it's available. That's what I think makes the Partnership for Children an important umbrella, because we have so many agencies, both connected to our board of directors or through programs that we fund, that we've got lots of tentacles out in the community. So social services, public health, the school systems, they all are aware of these programs. So then they interface with a lot of families that, moms that come through the WIC program at public health. So if they know what's available, they can then make those connections for families. So then in that way, we sort of reach out to them and say, gosh, did you know? I noticed you've got a 4-year-old. I need you to make sure that you understand that we have Imagination Library, which is a program that provides free books for kids. It's important for all of these service providers to kind of know what's available so we can make those connections for families. Because it's a complicated system.
Right, sure.
Yeah, lot available.
Well, I know there's a lot of resources that you mentioned. You briefly mentioned it just then. With all of your services, what are some of your key players in town? Where are people finding out about you, and where can they, start looking into it? And where are you getting a lot of these people?
I would say we have established a really good rapport with social services, public health, like I mentioned, and so many families use services through there that it's a great place to find families. Another really good connection we have is through our library systems. Both Hickory and Catawba County are so involved in what we do, and they're so interested in outreach. We will go to state meetings all the time, and people say, gosh, I heard about Catawba County and your collaboration there, because truly it's kind of we don't have the silo thing going here in Catawba County in terms of service delivery. Like, we are all kind of in it for the greater good. And it sounds Pollyanna to say that, but it really is true. Like, everyone is just, I don't own this stuff, and you guys don't own this stuff. We're all, want it to be successful together. So everyone sort of supports that effort. The school systems have been really supportive. They don't have to have pre-K classrooms in their buildings. I mean, they are not required to do that. All of our 3 school systems have elected to put pre-K classrooms in their buildings because they see how important it is for their kindergartens, and ultimate success in school. So it's been kind of neat to see how much we can benefit from all those collaborative, relationships that we have in the county.
Well, you briefly mentioned it as well, Imagination Library. So tell us a little bit about, I'm very familiar with the program and love it, but tell us a little bit more about it.
We love our Imagination Library program.
Yes.
Dolly Parton started Imagination Library.
Yes, she did.
Powerful Dolly Parton.
Mary Margaret's favorite Christmas song.
Thank you, McNally, for remembering.
That
Yes.
is like a steel trap, that is.
Hard,
well done.
Hard Candy Christmas.
Oh, it's a winner.
I know.
Tear-jerkers.
Got a little love for Dolly. So, please.
So, in addition to her musical prowess, she also is very interested in early literacy, and many years ago started a program called Imagination Library in her hometown, Sevierville, right outside of Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Basically, it's a program that's super straightforward, but it sends in the mail to each enrolled child one free age-appropriate book every month until they turn 5 years of age. So it is a fantastic way to expose kids to books, to have books in their homes, to build their own personal libraries, and also to encourage parents to read to their children, which is not necessarily evident to families that didn't have that for themselves, and also to build an excitement for reading, which we hear a lot. And I know, Mary Margaret, your children they get excited or got excited when they were enrolled in Imagination Library to go to the mailbox and find that next book. And the first thing they do is they want
to read it.
They want your parent to read to them. And that's exactly what we want to have happen in early childhood. Even when they're little babies and they're not reading yet, they need to be read too. And all the research tells us that that's how to build readers, ultimately.
What is the amount? Well, what are some numbers here for Catawba County? Because I know you've got impressive numbers, and it always blows people's minds when we hear about it.
So we've got around 10,000 kids birth to 5 in Catawba County. 5,000 of them are already enrolled in Imagination Library, so it's really a successful program.
Yeah.
We started in April of 2011, bringing it to Catawba County, and just over the years have built it to really serve, and we're focused mostly on serving kids that are at risk that wouldn't necessarily have books in their homes. And I should say too, we started it because one of our other Smart Start funded activities called Parents as Teachers is an in-home parent education program. So these trained educators will go into a parent's home and help them learn how to parent and learn how to play with their child and learn why that's important. And it's all literacy-based curriculum. These educators are going to these homes and coming back to us saying, their moms and dads are trying so hard and they're working so hard, but they have no children's books in their homes. And so we were trying to find donations of books and bring them into the homes. And then we discovered this Imagination Library program, and that hits the nail directly on the head for getting books in the hands of these kids. So 5,000 kids enrolled. The great thing about Dolly, in addition to her being an awesome musician,
one of the great things,
is that the Dollywood Foundation supports this program to the point that they estimate an average book plus mailing costs about $8.50. Our local cost is only about $2 per book. So there you go, an efficient way of getting books in the hands of kids. So for a year's worth of books for one kid is only like a $25 investment, you know. So, if folks wanted to sponsor kids, for example, it's a really nice thing to do. You can sponsor 12 books for $25 and make a huge impact in the life of a kid.
That's one of my favorite gifts to give. We've found over the past several years is to do a card with you guys on $25 and it's in somebody's name.
Yes.
And that's really cool because I'm sponsoring a child. I love it for teachers' gifts. I love it for grandparent gifts, things like that, because the people that really understand and value books and reading and stuff really appreciate that there's a child out there that now is getting a year's worth of books in their name.
Exactly.
It's really cool.
It's a meaningful program.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
And I know we've even talked about, in side meetings or whatnot. Of course, people question, well, what if they aren't being read to, or what if the parents can't read? I mean, and there's even studies, and you've talked about this in meetings where, obviously the excitement of just getting something in the mail is, I had a set of twins out of my kids, and they'd get the same book on the same day, but by golly, they got their own book.
And it's got their name on it.
And it's got their name.
And that's really cool.
But it's the whole, just the familiarity of opening the book, reading, turning the pages, seeing the pictures, maybe picking out words, just following that left or right. The smaller things, there is always going to be a benefit of it, even if it's not perfectly 100%, true to form of what the intent of the program is. So,
yeah, I agree with you. And I think, even sitting with a child and saying, look at the blue bird on this page, telling your own little story, even if you don't know how to read the story, is still a meaningful interaction with that child, and learning how to turn a page and what the front and the back of the book is. We have a lot of families who participate in Imagination Library who are Spanish speaking. And so most of the books now are also coming in dual language. So on the same page, they'll have the English version and the Spanish version, which is the greatest to expose both families to different languages, and oftentimes we'll have older siblings that can read the book to their younger sibling, which is also a great way to bond and kind of get to know each other a little bit. So it's a great program, and I have to say that it is funded locally by a lot of really supportive individuals, as in addition to Catawba County United Way and the Hickory Rotary Club really stepped out there when we were first thinking of this program and allowed us to start it and gave us that kind of jumping off point, and they've continued to fund it every year since.
And this is something, how long have you guys been running that program
Since
here?
April of 2011.
And so that's something that's just been really picked up now by the state.
Right.
And the state has put in some money for this program to expand it across the entire state. And so it's neat to hear that, okay, well, one, they're seeing the effects, the positive effects. And then two, they're realizing, okay, we really need to put this into, hopefully expanding it in communities like ours.
Sure, yes.
Where we have still a void of people enrolled in it, but also putting it in communities. We have neighboring counties that never had that, and they were always jealous when I would sit there and talk about, Imagination Library, kids getting the books, it's, a wonderful program, and they would want to sign up, but they lived in a different community.
Yeah, it's not a fluff program. The General Assembly said, we believe in early literacy, and this is the way to get there. The funding is coming through Smart Start. We actually got part of those funds to increase by 750 kids this year and 1,000 kids next year. Our local responsibility is to maintain the kids we had before. So we can expand, but we still have to fundraise for the kids that we had already have enrolled. But it's a great way to expand it and make sure more kids are engaged. And I failed to mention earlier, one of the great ways that we connect with families is through pediatricians' offices.
Right.
So they've been extremely supportive, where we've got the applications right there. When they come to those 2-day visits or those 4-day, whatever those are, when you're first and you're bleary-eyed and have those babies, you can sign up right then, and they get a book a month until the baby turns 5. So it's right there from the get-go.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And the books are nice.
Yeah,
they're
beautiful.
Hardback, very large, they're not pamphlets, staple
It's not
bound.
newspaper print.
Right,
But, yeah.
exactly. And I think that makes a difference too. As
It's the real book
petty
you would
as
get
it may
at a
sound,
school or
exactly.
library.
This is when you're keeping for yourself. That's what my kids used to ask every time at the mailbox. Didn't matter if it had their name on it. Didn't matter if I told them how many times. So I get to keep this one.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
absolutely,
And
and
it's
and
free
that's
for
really
families.
cool.
Yeah, right.
So cool. Such a great job.
Right. And Kim, you mentioned the public and private partnerships you have. And if our listeners might be interested, how could they maybe donate to you or give to your programs?
Thank you for that question.
You're welcome.
That was brilliant.
Now.
Settle down with the brilliance
You
thing.
just met him. Don't
dare you,
give him
McNally.
that stuff.
Super impressed.
Can I just have one? Come on.
Goodness.
All right, one.
All right, thanks.
Eesh. We
We
told him to
have
ask
a
you that.
fancy website that is created by none other than Mary Margaret Baker.
Hey.
It's fantastic. But there is a way to donate online if folks prefer that method, and it's on KatabaKids.com. That is our website. And there it's also, you could send checks in the mail, and there's the mailing information there. And like Mary Margaret said, there's great opportunities for making a donation in honor of someone or in memory of someone, and we've got really cute cards and pretty cards that we send out based on the holiday. Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, as a matter of fact. Certainly Christmas and all the holidays, so that folks can really make that gift something useful for the community.
And they can designate it for their donation specifically for Imagination Library.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, you'll take their money anyway. It will be
It'll
put
go
to good use for the
Yeah.
kids here, but
I mean, that's the great thing about any donations to Imagination Library is every dollar of it goes to buy a book for kids, period.
Yeah.
There's no administration. There's we provide all that as an in-kind match. But the money provided to Imagination Library puts a book in the hand of a kid.
it's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's
Investing in
really
your
cool.
community.
Absolutely. And speaking of the community, I know there's a big event coming up soon.
We
for
are excited.
this.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, the Unifor Foundation and Catawba Valley Community Foundation work together to bring UNC TV to Catawba County. And they are hosting here an Early Childhood Summit, which is the first ever of its kind. They're going to do a few more across the state after ours, but ours is the first. They are going to come on March 19th. It's going to be a fantastic over lunchtime, opportunity for business folks, faith community, early childhood folks, educators, just general community members to come together and really learn about early childhood and why it's important. What is the significance of those first 2,000 days? What's the economic impact of the first 2,000 days, which there is significant research about the impact that investments in early childhood make on a community today, in that child care centers allow their parents to be in the workforce, all right? But there's also a really big impact in 20 years because we're creating tomorrow's workforce today. And that's an important part of our work in terms of looking long-term about the impact we're making. So the conversations that day are going to be around those issues. We have a speaker coming from the North Carolina Early Childhood Foundation, Tracy Zimmerman, who's going to talk about the first 2,000 days and the economic impact. She also has some really interesting information to share about how companies can participate in this work, where I think a lot of times it feels like we're always asking for money to support programs, which we certainly need, and that's an important part of it. But another part of it is that they can also, for free, essentially, create family-friendly work policies in the workplace that help parents be connected to their kids' educational process, which also makes a huge impact on their academic achievement. So there are ways that businesses can play a role in this work, and the first step of that is really understanding it. So that's going to be part of the morning, and then we're going to have Mary Morin, who is a family specialist over with the Early Head Start program here in Catawba County, but she also happens to be an expert in toxic stress and the impact of toxic stress on young children, and how to mitigate those issues for young kids and how we can all help protect kids from that so that they don't end up with issues down the road. So we're excited about the day. It's going to start at 10:30 in the morning, and there's going to be a welcome and a couple presentations and some nice opportunities for discussions among folks at tables there. And then we're going to have a keynote speaker who is yet to be determined, and a luncheon, and then more conversation about how we can actually make this work get up and walk in Catawba County collectively.
That's great. That's amazing. We're excited about it. I'm hoping to be there. I think you're probably hoping to be there. Yes, that's a big deal for Catawba County,
Yep.
and super excited that you guys are getting to have a part in it.
They're going to tape it
And televise.
it.
Yes.
For throughout their
Yeah.
TV system. So we do get to be their guinea pig. So not only do we get to come collectively and put our heads together and hear more about this, because the whole education always is in the news, and K-12 rightfully so gets a lot of the focus.
Sure.
But there's so many different elements and the approach that we have to take has to be so different than it has been. I mean, 40, 50, 10 years ago. You hear so much more about, now you have dual income households. So you have both people out of the house from birth on, adverse childhood experiences, all these things that are interfering with the learning opportunities for a child, much less, like you said, the analogy is there. But if you stumble out of the blocks, it makes it that much harder to really run the race, especially for the folks that were given those opportunities early on. So, my hope is that there is more emphasis on the early childhood education opportunities, and quality education opportunities.
Right, and that's the key, I think. And that's where the collective spirit really helps in terms of making sure that what we're providing for kids is developmentally appropriate and it's of high quality, and we're basing this on what research tells us is right for kids. Because we don't have time or money to mess around and guess about what's right. We need to go find the programs that we know are proven to be effective and to make those happen here in Catawba County for our kids.
Yeah, and I even loved hearing the parents as teachers when they presented to the board. And, of course, all parents joke around like, well, you don't get instructions or anything. And, of course, each kid's different. But, they're talking about going into the home and just how to use some of the household items and objects to make different learning opportunities just for, dexterity and picking up and sorting and stacking.
Tennis ball.
And it's just like, and I was just laughing because it was almost, I remember you get a kid and you get them a toy. But after the first rush of the toy, man, they want to play in the box and create something else. And it's a lot of the same things. Like, not everybody has the resources or knows what they need to do. It's not just about toys and entertaining. There's purpose there behind it. But so much of it can be done without going above and beyond, whether that's financially or space-wise or whatever that might be.
That's right. Yeah.
Such a smart resource to have that I think people don't realize. The mommy groups in the mornings that are held over at your place. As a mom here, I think I am a working mom, so I appreciate, obviously, the childcare aspect of that, which is why I've been so involved over the years, because my kids have been in daycare since 6 weeks old, or, whatever it may be.
Right.
And so I need to make sure that I'm doing my part to make sure they're in a good place. But that on top of it, the resources you're giving to like I said, the mom groups, the young parents that, we're maybe not quite ready to be the parents yet, but are. Just amazing work coming out of there that reaches a whole group of people that I don't think everybody in the area understands.
And, one of those things that we've been focused on over the years, too, is making sure that childcare is affordable for families because it's expensive for those of us who, and I'm in the same boat, where I had my kids in childcare from when they were 8 weeks on, and I feel like those early care educators raised my kids along with me because they spent a long time there during the day.
More than they do in school, because they're there until you pick them up at the end of the day.
It's like
that's
a 10-hour day.
Yeah,
right. And so, but it's expensive, and these are young families who don't necessarily have their feet under them financially, where if you're raising for college, you're 20 years in and you have some time to plan for that.
Yeah.
But boy, childcare comes pretty fast when you have a baby. At $150 a week or whatever, it adds up. And so, a lot of our local funding is invested in what we call childcare subsidy, but it's basically scholarships for at-risk families, lower income families that need high quality care. We don't want them piled in a neighbor's house, sitting in front of a TV.
Yeah.
We want them in safe and high-quality places so that they get what they need.
Absolutely.
So one question that we like to ask and propose to our guests is, if you had a magic wand, what would your magic wand do in reference to your organization?
Wow, that's a good question. See, that's one you should have told me yesterday, and I really could have been brilliant right now.
We didn't know he was going to say this one, so...
I think for me, and I've been, at this job for 20 years, so I've seen a lot of progress, and I'm really proud of the work the partnership has done and also benefited greatly from the support of our state in this work. I would love to see early care and education be part of the educational continuum with elementary, middle, high school. It should all be part of the same system. We should all be talking about education, and when we say education, we should mean birth on. And it doesn't end at 64. It doesn't end at whatever. It goes all the way up. We just need to make sure that everyone understands the importance of these first 5 years. Because Michael, I think you're right about, when people think about education, you automatically think kindergarten and up. And we're really
because everybody has to go, so it's
right. It's mandatory, so that's kind of how and that's how the funding goes, and for good reason. But my magic wand would really make early childhood the automatic part of the educational continuum, and every child has the same access to services in that time period.
Kim, thank you so much for being here with us today. I know hopefully somebody out there has learned something about the partnership and all of its roles, and can research you guys, find out more, and if they need help, come to you, or if they're interested in some books, or again, you do so many different things.
And absolutely, if anyone wants to go and find more resources, then please go to our website at katabakids.com.
Absolutely, and we'll be tagging that website on the post for this podcast as well. But thank you so much for being here.
Thank you and your staff for all the work you do.
Thank you.
It's great work. All right, Moose.
Yes.
You've been antsy over there, ready to talk.
You know me,
tell
I'm
us
just so
something
antsy all the time.
You are
antsy all the time. So I'll just talk about some events that are coming up in our community this week. The crossing at Holler Mill is having the Winter Farmers Market that's ongoing right now. It's every Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Like I said, at the crossing. After March 7th, the Farmers Market is back on Union Square on Wednesday and Saturday mornings. That's right. All the cantaloupes you want.
Big
Farmers Market's awesome.
I love our Farmers Market. It's fabulous.
For sure. The Catawba Science Center is now hosting Gross Labs and the Germ Zone, which is pretty prevalent right now.
Timely.
I know,
It is very, very timely. Go learn about the flu. Well, you don't have the flu. Don't go to the Science Center.
No, I tell you
Please
what
don't.
though,
Right.
Gross Labs is super cool though. I mean, it's
Enlighten us.
there's like a fake surgery section, and there's stuff about snot, and I took my kids to
Like what happens when you lose teeth or say anything like that?
Probably maybe the stuff with it. Who knows?
There's also a poop section. My kids love that area. Of course.
Absolutely, yes. My kids went to Gross Out Camp one summer at the Science Center.
Okay.
And so, I mean, it's funny. The Science Center does a good job with gross stuff. Charlotte, my oldest, came home from camp that week one day and said that they had built an obstacle course.
Whoa, like Double Dare?
Yep.
Yes.
But
Throwback.
it was the intestine.
Oh, no. Take the physical challenge.
Did it make a noise at the end?
It was them. They came out.
And so but then I'm sure they all made noises, and I'm sure they lived it up.
Oh, man, the stuff she came home talking about. It was an awkward week, but she loved it. I mean, they talked about everything.
She's a gastroenterologist. You'll know where
I know, right?
spark was lit.
That's
She's like, we
Fingers
started
crossed.
at the small intestine, and we came out the large intestine, and this, and I was like, oh. But cool. Good for you. Science.
That's right. Also, at the Catawba Science Center going on now is the American Adventure. You can now role play as a Jamestown colonist, and that exhibit is going on through March the 4th.
That one's awesome.
It is. It's like real life Oregon Trail. Is that kind of what it is?
What's supposed to be like, and you
the
make
flu.
choices.
Dysentery.
You make choices, and you go around, and it gives like points and obstacles, and you spin the wheel and get bit by a spider, and you have different health
Wheel- it
and
sounds
money
like
and all
the
this
Wheel
sort
of
of
Punishment.
stuff.
That's what it sounds
Yes, dilly dilly. You get thrown into the pit of misery if you don't. Yeah, so we've died a couple of times, but
Cool.
for the most part, we're survivors.
Good.
Nice, nice. Going on right now at the Hickory Museum of Art, still going on is the Endangered, is the Joel Satori retrospective Natural Geographic photographer. He took pictures of endangered species, and it's beautiful. We were there filming a video for the Saltbuck, and I was able to see those photographs, and they're amazing. Straight up, you need to go check that out if you haven't already. All the great things that are going on at the Hickory Metro Convention Center. And coming up in the next few weeks, hold on for your hats. On Saturday, it's the Bird Fair. All you pet bird enthusiasts.
It's big around here.
Is
We've
it?
got several Wild Birds Unlimited and stuff, and all those. Is that what you're talking about? Birds,
I'm talking
right?
about like canaries and stuff, like parrots and whatnot.
Like exotic
Like people will
birds.
bring-
Yeah, Wild
like
Birds
bird.
Unlimited.
I don't know if this is wild birds. I think this is like.
All right, you need to hold on a
I
second.
love birds.
Listen,
I have like
Domesticated
3
birds.
birdhouses.
listen to me. You can still get at Wild Birds Unlimited. You can still get canary food.
Okay, I
and
understand.
Cockatiel food and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's just the name of the store.
Okay, I got you. I got
right.
you. I thought it was just outdoor birds only. Okay. I love the Cardinals. Like I said, the bird fair is going on for pet bird enthusiasts and outside bird enthusiasts this weekend, Saturday, February 17th. The Great Outdoor Boat Show is going on this weekend. If anybody's
As
excited
opposed to
about that.
the indoor boat show for all those indoor boats we've
How
had.
dare you? So, if you like boats and pontoons, RVs, power sports, all that good stuff, you're going to have all sorts of opportunities to go check that out. Also, coming up in March, it's the Inside Pitch Toy Hobby Sports NASCAR Memorabilia Show, Saturday on March 10th. So, if you're into baseball
All of that.
cards,
Parties.
all that stuff, yeah, go check it out.
Yeah.
Also, March 19th, we talked about it before, the Catawba County Early Childhood Education Summit.
Yay!
Also at the Hickory Metro Convention Center. The 21st annual Catawba Valley Pottery and Antiques Festival is going on Saturday, March the 24th. Also going on that same weekend at the convention center is the Catawba Valley Gem and Mineral Show. So if you're into
Oh, that one's a
agates
good
and all
one
that
too.
stuff,
That
go
one's
check
a
that
good
out.
one too. I actually went to that when I was in middle school. They took us to like a field trip to that or something.
Really?
Yeah.
We went to Hid Night.
I've been to Midnight in elementary
some
school.
solution.
Gym show was the next step up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, also put on your calendars, the date of Hickory Hops has been announced. It's April 21st, 1 to 6. The cost is normally around $30 to $40 for dozens of breweries and live music. So go ahead and put that on your calendar. Full Circle Arts is currently asking for artist submissions for the My North Carolina. They're looking for art that best describes the artist's portrayal of their lives in North Carolina. The art show will be coming up soon. I'm not real sure on the date. Did not give the date. But cash prizes will be awarded to those winners. So if you're out there listening, looking for a job, CVCC's got a job fair going on March the 18th. And last but not least, the Foothills Disc Golf Association is hosting the Hampton Heights Championship. It's disc golf at Hampton Heights Golf Course.
At ball golf. Disc golf at ball golf.
Disc golf and ball golf, right.
No, at ball golf.
At ball golf. You can play ball golf too, I think, the same day.
Not in the tournament.
Not in the tournament?
It's a disc golf
dangerous.
tournament.
I mean,
Then you can go play ball golf after the
right,
tournament's done.
exactly. So, like we always say, there's always great live local music going on. Hickory Taproom, Shooters, Hickory Tavern, Food Factory Underground, all those places in Hickory proper that have live music Fridays and Saturdays. So go check those people out. And speaking of the Old Hickory Taproom, segue.
Okay, there we go. Time to talk about our review for the week. We did go to lunch yesterday. Probably smart because we don't always do so well if we get too full before we record.
That time.
We tend to, Kim, this is a good review for you and Elijah Moon in there doing the engineering. We review a restaurant every episode, local Hickory restaurant or Catawba County restaurant. It just needs to be local, no chains.
Perfect.
And we've been to some good ones. We've been to some okay ones. But we really haven't come across anything bad yet.
And if we do,
Just 'cause-
we
just
won't
'cause
tell.
like-
we
I
won't
know,
tell the
right?
people.
Just
We'll
because we like food.
It's,
So
the restaurants are either good or great.
true. Because we pick them, which is
We're not gonna pick slouches out there.
because we like food, we like to eat. And McNally started in the beginning of the year. You know, it was New Year, new McNally, trying to not spend as much money on lunches
Right.
for our podcast.
They add up.
Which
They
means
do add up.
only one meal.
Oh.
Well, before I was I'm here for the people, Kim. So I was trying to give them like multiple
you're a giver.
selections. Thank
Sure.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, it was
Brilliant too.
It was nice. There was a couple times they were sharing lunches and stuff, like
that's
double
just sad.
lunches.
Yeah, well,
It's like a meal and a half, not
Yes.
like intertwining our arms and.
I mean, that would be adorable, but
Yeah.
budgeted to that.
It
Lady
is
in the
Valentine's Day.
It is.
Which one's lady? Which one's tramp?
You're the
I know the answer. I'm not going to say it, though. All right, so this week we did go to the Hickory Tap Room on the square.
Old standby.
Oh, good old tap room.
That's right.
We all have some different opinions, I think, about the tap room and how we feel about it, although we've all been going there for a long time. So, Kim, I'm sure you've been there before.
Many a time.
Many a time. Elijah,
I probably should try their beer
Yeah.
at some point.
try the what?
Beer. No.
Please.
I was about
That
to
would
say.
be crazy.
Kim doesn't know anything about that.
I hear they have that.
Yes. So, we all ordered one meal each, which was nice.
Wow.
We always have the debate when we arrive at any restaurant. We have the debate of, so are you going to order what you always order, or are you going to order something
Branch
new?
out. Yeah.
All right, McNally, what'd you have?
So on this trip, my staples there are typically the Cobb salad because it makes me feel good about myself to order a salad that has bacon, chicken, blue cheese, shredded
Bunch of
cheese,
stuff on it.
dressing. So I could tell everybody, yeah, it was 1,100 calories, but I had salad
It was a
for lunch. So that is an excellent standby. But I branched out. I went to overall a traditional. I went with the Carolina burger. So had that surprise. I even surprised
Tell us what it
myself. The Carolina burger for those that are
Or in
uninitiated.
Texas listening to the show about Hickory.
Yeah, maybe it's well, you should.
I mean, it's a great town.
It is a delicious hamburger patty with chili, coleslaw, onions, and mustard. There is no variation on a Carolina burger. You got to get that. That is a Carolina burger.
But you didn't have onions yesterday.
No, I had them on the burger. I didn't have them on my salad.
Oh, okay. Because you did have
Guys got to have limits.
Okay, gotcha.
And so, had the Carolina burger. It was delicious. Burger was a little done, but restaurants are always kind of weird with burgers anyway, unless you go somewhere that grinds at meat. But I mean, it's chili, it's slaw, kind of covers up any imperfections in the burger anyway. I thoroughly enjoyed my Carolina burger.
Good.
I surprised myself and got a side salad. I don't know, this new me is like sticking past the first couple weeks of the year.
Only because you'd been to the doctor the day before.
I was, yes, and he reminded me that this new me really needs to stick around to ensure that there is still a me. That's kind of how he prefaced that. But I will say, before I got there, y'all ordered the chips.
Moose ordered
I did
chips.
order the. How can you not?
Like for the table?
No,
I totally agree. Now I sit there and say the new me wouldn't have ordered them, but the new me still ate them.
But still
So I was
enjoy
just-
them on behalf of the team.
that blue cheese.
I would have a mainline IV drip of that blue cheese.
Blue cheese drip. I was thinking your IV drip. Sauce me those chips is so good. I would drink that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what I had. Salad was a side salad. I mean, it was fabulous.
Meh.
But the chips and the burger were
Always kick it off.
I mean,
for
it's
you.
bar food, and that's what we talked about. It's a great standby to have downtown when you just want to go grab a sandwich or a burger or whatnot.
Absolutely. Moose, what'd you have?
I had the Franklin. It was delicious. It's a turkey sandwich. Sliced turkey, lettuce, tomato, onion, mayonnaise, toasted. Had a side of spinach Maria. It was warm all the way through, which is
Good. Not always.
Not
for me.
always. Not always. I mean,
I was jealous of y'all's sides.
It was delicious. Add half those chips that Mike was talking about, and the best part about this place. Number one, I'm very very partial to this place. They're very kind to Moose and friends. We play at that place a lot, and we eat there a lot in college. My girlfriend and I eat there at least once a month, and we know a lot of the people that work there. So I give this, no kidding, on a rating scale, I give it 7 out of 7. It's my hometown joint. I love it.
Wowzers. It's a big deal.
There's ambiance and everything included.
It is ambiance. I own a mug there, 511. I'm going to tell everybody if you want to use my
Don't
mug.
tell everybody. You're not
Doesn't
supposed to
matter.
tell your number.
Doesn't matter.
Jeez, I'm not telling my number.
I don't even drink out of it.
Can't wait to spit in that one.
Why do you not drink out of it?
I think it makes the beer taste weird.
You're weird.
For real, it does.
I love the beer in it because it actually...
You get 20 ounces. You get 20 ounces.
I think it makes it taste better.
My mug says King of Hickory on it.
Mine says the other dojo.
Oh. Hey.
So, but I'm not telling you my number.
All right.
I had a little hodgepodge of things. I had my go-to, which is wings. And I get the wings naked with the spicy tiger sauce on the side. Yeah, like it. And then I had a side of the scalloped tomatoes, which came with...
Hot all the way through.
They were hot, and they sometimes have melted cheese on top.
Right.
I did have cheese yesterday, but it was not as cooked through as I'd like it baked, but nonetheless, it was good. I ate it. And then I did have a cup of their soup. I did the special soup of the day, which was vegetable beef. Good old-fashioned vegetable beef soup.
It's good.
Yep, absolutely. And
Kim, what do you like at the tap room?
Well, I have a daughter who's a vegetarian.
Okay.
So we are always searching for good vegetarian options. And they've got a good bean burger
They
there.
do.
They do.
I agree
I
with
really
that.
like that. And I get it myself, and I'm not a vegetarian. And I like their hummus, too. That's always a winner.
Yeah, I haven't had their hummus before.
It's delish.
Good.
Yeah.
Michael, what were your ratings for yesterday?
You know, I'd probably give the tap room a 7 out of 10. I mean, it's just good enough food that you go to at a bar. I love the place. Things that step it up for me are the ambiance. I love the local, the owners, all that.
Yeah.
And of course, we didn't have it yesterday, but I love going there and having some Old Hickory
Frosty
Brewery
beverage.
specials.
Yeah, absolutely. Good times at the holidays and stuff too. They never close. So if it's snowing outside, go to the tap room. If it's icy outside, go to the tap room. If it's a holiday, go to the tap room. It's amazing. I admitted yesterday with nervousness behind it, making sure not too many people in Hickory heard me, but that I like the tap room, but I don't love the tap room. And I honestly think it's just because I did get a little burnout on it. I mean,
I believe that.
There was a little too much time in college spent there. There was a little too much time of whenever I moved back to Hickory thinking that was just the super cool joint. And it is great. It is good. But as you guys know, I'm not a big sandwich person. Don't like sandwiches a lot. And there's a lot of sandwiches on their menu. So I've kind of exhausted the other stuff. That's just me personally.
Yeah, I get it.
So I find myself getting, which I do appreciate that they offer a side entree, so you can make an entree out of 3 different sides. And I do that a lot, which I really enjoy. And then a lot of times I'm getting like an appetizer as a meal, hence the wings and a salad or something. So my score tends to be more because of the ambiance, which I love, the beer, which is good, and I just wish they'd change up their menu every once in a while, and I feel like I've been ordering the same stuff since 98, so
you want one side of the menu to be the standbys, and then
I would love every once in a while they're like, hey, new menu stuff, this is...
Well, it's like we talked about yesterday, the new stuff, the fancy stuff, you go across the tracks to the station, and
That's right.
and
which, that's
for the
fine by me
staples.
too. Yeah.
It is one of those places. I'm downtown Union Square, especially with people from out of town.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want
It
Hickory's
is-
best
to
chicken
me, it
fingers,
is-
you go there too.
You take them to the tap room
Say
and
again?
get a little experience.
Sorry to interrupt you, McNally. They do have the best chicken fingers in town, though.
Yes. As rated by most 5-year-olds and Moose.
Again, Moose would know. Right.
I would know. They're great.
Well, there you go. And it is, I agree. When people come in town, especially if they've been there before, or like people we went to college with or something, when they come back in town, everybody's like, let's just go to the tap room. Because it is a good old standby. I think it's just different if you obviously live here and we work right down the street, and it's kind of like, okay, I went there 3 times last week, so let's meet somewhere else. That's just me. I give it a 6 out of 10. There you go. Don't hate me, Moose.
That's fine. Hey, if you want to hear good music, Moose and Friends is playing there on Saturday night, 9:30 to 1 o'clock.
Sounds good.
Be there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good. All right, guys. Anything else to wrap up this week? No. All right. Good.
That was a first.
And good.
And
Great.
scene.
So that's it. Thank you so much for listening to Street Circle Drive today. Kim, thank you for joining us and
you.
telling us a little bit more about the Partnership for Children, Catawba County Partnership for Children. Lots to come, I'm sure, from you guys growing and continuing to help the community. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Boys,
Lady.
y'all take care. Tell everybody goodbye.
Adios, hickory nuts.
Oh, hickory nuts. See you later, hickory nuts. 6 out of 10. I can't believe it. Gosh.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.